The year is 1993. A new season of the Mickey Mouse Club has begun airing on the Disney Channel. Among the cast was Kerry Russell, Nikki DeLoach, and Ryan Gosling, all gone on to have successful acting careers. Furthermore, the Mickey Mouse Club also featured JC Chasez, Justin Timberlake, Christina Aguilera, and Britney Spears, all future multi-platinum musicians. When the Mickey Mouse Club came to an end in 1994, the cast members had to carve out a new path, most of them returning home. Fast forward a few years to 1998. JC, Justin, Christina, and Britney were all chasing their dreams and got signed to record labels. They collectively released hit after hit after hit. In the eyes of Disney Channel executives, they lost several golden goose eggs. If only they knew the potential these past Disney Channel actors had, the money that they let go of. Never would they let this happen again. With the Disney-owned music label Hollywood Records, the Disney Channel had a new plan, a plan doused in tween sensation and corporate synergy. All they needed was another Britney, a girl next door with charm, charisma, and likability that was consumable to the same audiences. Enter Hilary Duff. Before that, let's rewind a little. Hilary Duff landed the title role in the Disney Channel series Lizzie McGuire, which premiered on January 12, 2001. Lizzie McGuire quickly became Disney Channel's landmark show for the time, propelling Hilary Duff into superstardom, becoming a household name at the age of 14. On August 13, 2002, Walt Disney Records released the Lizzie McGuire soundtrack that was a compilation of songs used in the show or inspired by it. The song I Can't Wait, sung by Hilary Duff, was released as a single a day before the release of the album. The album ended up going platinum, selling over 1 million albums. This means that assuming albums are sold for roughly $11, then the album made at least $11 million. This cemented in Disney's mind that propelling their stars in the music industry was incredibly lucrative. A couple months later, Hilary Duff released her first studio album, Santa Claus Lane, in October 2002, distributed through Walt Disney Records. The album received a gold certification, meaning that the album made $5.5 million. This gave Disney enough confidence for Hilary to release another studio album that would have more mainstream success and radio appeal. But before that, Duff reprised her role as Lizzie McGuire in the Lizzie McGuire movie in May of 2003. Within that film, Duff recorded the original song What Dreams Are Made Of, the finale number that became an earworm that is still memorable today. With What Dreams Are Made Of attached to the film's soundtrack, as well as the single, Why Not?, the soundtrack went on to become certified double platinum. Why Not alone has sold over 142,000 copies. Assuming that the digital single was sold for $1.29, that means that the single and the double platinum album made over $22 million. With this massive success, 2 months later, Hilary Duff released the lead single of her second studio album, So Yesterday. So Yesterday was produced by The Matrix, the same people that worked with Avril Lavigne for Complicated and Liz Phair on Why Can't I? So Yesterday reached number 42 on the Billboard Hot 100 and was more successful overseas, reaching top 40 in most countries. As of 2014, the song has made approximately 325,000 copies. 1 month later, Duff released her second studio album, Metamorphosis, in August of 2003. The album instantly reached the top of the Billboard 200 chart and became a major hit. After 2 years, the album sold over 5 million copies. This means that Metamorphosis made at least $55 million. Following this success, Duff released a second single, Come Clean. Funnily enough, Come Clean was released on the 3rd year anniversary of the premiere of Lizzie McGuire. Let the rain fall down and wake my dreams, let it wash away my sanity. Come Clean was written by Cara Diaguardi and John Shanks and reached number 35 on the Billboard Hot 100, being an even more successful follow-up to So Yesterday. The music video was nominated for Best Pop Video at the 2004 MTV Music Video Awards. The song was used in the trailer for A Cinderella Story, which starred Hilary Duff, and the song also became the theme song for the MTV reality television show Laguna Beach. The single has made approximately $844,950. Quickly speeding through Hilary's subsequent albums because they were released after she left the Disney Channel, Hilary Duff released her self-titled album on September 15, 2004. As of 2014, the album has sold 1,799,000 units. Duff then released Most Wanted in 2005, a compilation album with the lead single Wake Up, released a month prior. As of 2014, the album sold over 1,489,000 units. Duff then released Dignity in 2007 and created a viral dance meme performing With Love on Good Morning America. The album debuted at number 3 on Billboard and has sold over 412,000 copies in the US. Finally, a Best Of album was released in 2008 and has sold over 35,000 copies. Hilary Duff was a juggernaut for Disney. Her music alone has made approximately over $135 million. Plus, taking into account Spotify streams, there's an extra good mil. This is not even taking into account the millions of dollars Duff would have raked in from her 4 tours. She was an absolute force. In the same month that Metamorphosis was released, the first Cheetah Girls movie made its debut on the Disney Channel. The movie's premiere garnered 6.5 million viewers, exposing all of them to the original music embedded within the film's plot. There was originally no intention of releasing the music commercially since previous Disney Channel original movies did not release soundtracks. However, Deborah Martin Chase was able to convince the channel to create new contracts for the actresses so that the album could be released. The Disney Channel should be very thankful to Chase because the album ended up selling over 2 million copies. This ultimately changed the way the Disney Channel would draft contracts, with the intention to release movie soundtracks alongside the premiere of the movie, another very lucrative venture. With the success of Metamorphosis and the success of the first Cheetah Girls soundtrack, Disney had a successful formula that could be repeated. Greenlight a TV show or movie that centers around a likable protagonist. Cast someone with X Factor. Promote the show or movie to the point that it gives the actor star power, sign the star to Hollywood Records, and boom, a multi-platinum record is made. This is where Raven-Symone comes in, one of Disney Channel's biggest hitters of all time. Let's go through the formula. Disney Channel greenlit a show originally called Totally Psychic. Disney Channel then cast Raven to play the best friend role on the show. However, test audiences thought Raven was so much of a star that they believed that she should play the lead. So, Disney Channel made the change.
Let's go.
The show was widely popular, and it was super easy for Raven to become a star since her name was in the title of the show. Disney Channel signed Raven to Hollywood Records and quickly got Raven working on her 3rd studio album. Raven released the song Backflip on July 28, 2004. The song is a pop, hip-hop, and R&B fused song, mainly through the help of big-time producer Scott Storch. Backflip was also written by Cara Diaguardi, who worked on Metamorphosis with Hilary Duff. The album This Is My Time was released on September 7, 2004. This Is My Time debuted at number 51 on the Billboard 200. Bump was then also released as a single in 2005. By 2007, the album has sold over 235,000 units. This means that This Is My Time made over $2.5 million. Raven's second solo project with Hollywood Records was her self-titled, released on April 29, 2008. The single released from the album was a cover of Double Dutch Bus, a song that was also used to promote the movie College Road Trip. The album debuted on the Billboard 200 at number 159, selling 4,400 copies in its first week. It is unclear how many overall copies were sold of this record, so it unfortunately cannot be taken into account in the calculation of total revenue. From Raven's solo work, she has made at least $2,633,400, plus another $18,000 from Spotify streams. In connection with Raven, the Cheetah Girls without Raven also released a Christmas album, Cheetah Christmas, in October 2005. Before the eventual premiere of the Cheetah Girls sequel in 2006. The premiere of Cheetah Girls 2 became Disney's highest rated Disney Channel original movie, with a total of 8.1 million viewers. From the success of the movie, the soundtrack debuted at number 5 on the Billboard 200, and as of 2008, the soundtrack has sold over 1.4 million copies. Following this, the Cheetah Girls released a cover of Route 66 to promote the Cars movie, and then the Cheetah Girls also released the album TCG without Raven, which ended up selling 126,000 copies. Furthermore, the Cheetah Girls without Raven released the Cheetah Girls One World soundtrack alongside the movie that got 6.2 million viewers. The album reached number 13 on Billboard, and the soundtrack sold over 140,000 copies. Back to Raven, besides her solo projects, 2 That's So Raven soundtracks were released. The first was released in May 2004, which featured the theme song. The album peaked at number 44 on Billboard and ended up selling over 500,000 copies. The second soundtrack, That's So Raven 2, was released in March 2006. As of 2007, the album has sold over 200,000 copies. In 2004, Aly AJ starred in the Disney Channel show Phil of the Future. As done with every other Disney Channel actor, they are given a role in a Disney Channel original movie. In 2005, Aly starred in the film Now You See It. Accompanying the movie was a cover of Do You Believe in Magic, sung by Aly and her sister, AJ. The song ended up reaching number 2 on Billboard's Hot Singles chart. Furthermore, Aly and AJ released the song No One on March 18, 2005. The song was featured in the movie Ice Princess as well as its soundtrack. In June 2005, Aly and AJ released a cover of Walking on Sunshine, which was then featured in the film Herbie Fully Loaded. This all led up to the release of their debut album Into the Rush on August 16, 2005. The album received positive reviews from critics praising both women's talent and experience. The album has sold over 839,000 copies in the United States, meaning that the album has made at least over $9 million. Following the release of the album, Never Far Behind was released as a single in October. Then, Rush was released to Radio Disney on October 14, 2005 to promote the Disney Channel movie Twitches. However, the song grew in popularity, which led to a mainstream release 4 months later in February 2006. It was their first song to have commercial success in the United States and has sold over 900,000 units. After releasing On the Ride to promote their movie Cowbells, the final single, Chemicals React, was released in June and re-released in September 2006. It reached number 70 on the Billboard Hot 100 and has sold over 175,000 units in the United States. Plus, it has a Simlish version. Following the success of Into the Rush, Aly and AJ followed it up with a Christmas album, Acoustic Hearts of Winter, on September 2006. The album debuted on Billboard at 78. The album has sold over 110,000 copies in the United States to date. This all led up to the release of the lead single of their third studio album, Potential Breakup Song. Potential Breakup Song is Aly and AJ's most successful song, being certified platinum in the United States. Not only did the song sell well, but critics loved it too. Time even ranked it the 9th best song of 2007. A couple weeks later, Aly and AJ released their final album with Hollywood Records, Insomniatic. Insomniatic was received well by many music critics, which appreciated the duo for their lyrical depth. The album debuted at number 15 on Billboard, and in the US alone, the album has sold over 700,000 copies. Finally, Aly and AJ released Like Whoa as their final single. It was used in the Disney Channel original movie Minutemen and can also be heard in High School Musical 3 during a party scene. As of 2008, the song had 558,084 downloads, reaching gold certification. Although Aly and AJ are not the first people you think of when considering Disney Channel music, they were incredibly successful. They made at least $21 million for Disney, plus an easy $900,000 from Spotify streams. The year is now 2006, and a brand new Disney Channel original movie is about to premiere. A modern twist on Romeo and Juliet, but instead of being set in the city of Verona, it's set in a high school where they're putting on a musical. I'm talking about High School Musical. High School Musical was massive. Everybody knows about it massive. Your grandparents or even great-grandparents know about it. I don't know how they calculated this, but as of 2019, over 225 million people were calculated as watching High School Musical. The catchiness of the movie's music resulted in a very, very successful soundtrack. As of 2016, the first movie soundtrack has sold over 5 million copies. Furthermore, Breaking Free was released as a single and is platinum certified. From the success of the soundtrack, it only made sense to do what any other musical artist would do: tour. The cast of High School Musical, excluding Zac Efron, traveled all around the United States, Canada, and Latin America for High School Musical, the concert, which ended up making a whopping $33 million. The High School Musical cash cow was nowhere near drying up. So of course, a sequel had to be made. High School Musical 2 premiered on August 17, 2007 to an unprecedented audience of 17.2 million viewers. The soundtrack was just as successful as the first, debuting at number 1 on Billboard with over 600,000 copies sold in the first week. As of 2016, the album has sold over 3,400,000 copies in the US. Finally, High School Musical 3 was released in 2008, which made a whopping $252.9 million at the box office. But regarding the soundtrack alone, it sold over 1.3 million copies. Disregarding the profit made from the movies itself and the merchandise, from the music and concert tour alone, High School Musical has made at least $141 million, plus another $7.9 million from Spotify streams. And that is only considering the sales in the United States, not even the rest of the world. From the success of the movies, Disney Channel had a bunch of golden eggs resting in their hands. So, what would be Disney's best next move? Sign them to Hollywood Records and release solo projects. Let's start with...
Y'all need to get ready to hear the unbelievable, indescribable Vanessa Hudgens, Baby V. Baby, come back.
Right after the first installment of High School Musical, Disney signed Vanessa to Hollywood Records. 8 months after the premiere of High School Musical, Vanessa's lead single was released, Come Back to Me. The song debuted and peaked at number 55 on the Billboard Hot 100, and a couple weeks later, Vanessa's first album, V, was released on September 2006.
Baby, come back to me. In my heart, I still believe we were meant to be together, so whatever it takes.
As of April 2008, the album has sold over 570,000 copies in the United States. Moving to 2008, Vanessa then released the lead single for her second upcoming album, Identified, Sneaker Night.
Put your sneakers on.
Identified was released a couple months later in July 2008. It is unclear how many copies were sold, however, it sold 22,000 copies in the first week, so it made at least $242,000. Besides the memification of Sneaker Night, it appears that Hollywood Records truly fumbled the bag with the rollout of this album. It seems clear that the title track should have been the lead single. Not only was it a club banger with high danceability, it was written by Max Martin, Kathy Dennis, and Greg Kurstin, 3 powerhouse songwriters. I'm not completely aware of how much promotion the album was given, however, considering only one single was released, I could assume Disney was trying to distance themselves from Vanessa Hudgens after she got into a public scandal that was completely out of her control, even though Vanessa's solo project never reached a level of success as her music from High School Musical. Her solo albums made at least $6.5 million, plus another $300,000 from Spotify streams. Let's move to Corbin Bleu.
Let's do it. Yeah, push it to the limit, 'cause we're in it to win it, oh yeah.
Corbin released the song Push It to the Limit alongside the movie Jump In, which broke the record for highest viewed Disney Channel original movie at the time with 8.2 million viewers. The movie helped push the song to number 14 on Billboard. By 2007, Push It to the Limit had sold over 77,000 copies. In the same year, Corbin released his first studio album, Another Side. The album received moderate success, debuting at number 36 on Billboard. The album sold over 120,000 copies. In 2009, Corbin released his second album, Speed of Light. Not much is known about the sales of this album as it did not chart on Billboard. However, taking into account Spotify royalties, the album has made at least $7,354.81. You may be thinking, what about Ashley Tisdale? Well, here's the thing. She signed with Warner Brothers, meaning that Disney was not making money from her music. Here is a quick calculation of the money Disney missed out on. So, a complete fumble of the bag. From what we've talked about so far, it is clear that Disney has a successful formula to produce a lot of revenue from their stars. Looking at the jackpot, Disney has made at least $367 million. And this is a lowball calculation because merchandise and most tours are not accounted for. But in the next part, we will be introduced to their biggest commodity to date.